To notify the recorder. Okay,
Sorry,
no problem.
wasn't expecting that yet.
The Douglas County Traffic Safety Commission will now come to order. The minutes from September 24th. Are they, any corrections to the minutes? They need to be done?
Should I make a motion?
Huh?
Should I make a motion to
You
approve?
can?
Make a motion to approve minutes from the previous meeting as written.
Motion accepted. They are approved as mailed. Okay. The next thing on the agenda, the victim impact panel. Actually, everything's gone smooth. Basically the same thing we reported last time. Rotary is sending quite a bit on average, about 23 to 25 people. The numbers went down from Winston and Sutherland, so I'm not sure if they're sending the individual or if they're allowing them to do online courses. So I should make some phone calls and just poke my head in and double check to see if they're still, send them our way or if they're just letting them do online courses that way. So, any questions on that?
No.
Okay. The next thing on the agenda, we got ODOT road review.
All right, so I wish I could razzle and dazzle you, but last time I was here, I kind of shared the budget restraints and the fact that the STIP cycle is going to be a little smaller than what we're actually used to, which is unfortunate. But the good news is, new governor has put out a proposal, and the legislative session is about to start. And so far, it looks promising. We're not counting our chickens till they hatch, but as far as projects right now, we've really only got the 101, we got a tree vegetation project around 219 to 222, it's just minor lane closures and so forth. But then what we kind of got cooking right now is 138 East. We had a pretty significant slide about 10 miles east of Steamboat, and that's been a little bit troublesome trying to get that under control, but for the most part, highway's open. It's just a little bit of a detour. And then the big one around here is gonna be, of course, Highway 42. Basically from, you can think of it, you could call it the freeway to Brockway-ish. That's not the exact footprint, but you can think that there's gonna be work in that general area. And that's a significant project. That's a pretty good one we've been waiting for a long, long time. We've been trying to Band-Aid that entire section of roadway, which of course is majority of 4 lanes, so it's a pretty significant piece for us. And a lot of utilities, a lot of side streets, a lot of high crash intersections that we're really excited to see some improvements on. And that's right around the corner. That kicks off in the beginning of spring. We'll probably see a lot more utility movement and so forth. We may not see the actual asphalt trucks rolling in there and putting down large quantities of asphalt this coming spring, but it's kicking off. And I think unfortunately, that's kind of the gist of it. Brockway, we got done with the roundabout, packaging up the future plan, and we're putting it on a shelf for right now until we figure out what's the best thing to do. But that project is ready if we go forth.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? I got one.
Sure.
Do you guys do out the glide, the paving?
Yeah.
Are you in charge of that?
Yeah.
Okay. There is like a bob on the road, right between Pike Street and Mountain View Trailer Park.
Let me make a footnote of this. So we've got a little. Okay, and it's what street?
It right across from Pike Street in Glide.
Okay.
It's on when you're heading to town. So it's on that side of the street.
Sure.
It's located like in the middle. It is roughly that big and it's about that high.
Got you.
It's a
Little bump.
a little chunk.
Okay. I will.
Everything else is smooth as hell as far as the water, sheds.
Besides that one, yeah.
So I live out there, so yeah, it looked very nice.
Excellent.
But the only thing that popped up is, like I said, that chunk.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is, but it's.
Most likely a blob off the roller or the back of one of those trucks. So,
So
yeah,
if you could
piece
just
cake.
come back and scrape it off, it'll match everything else.
Sounds good. I'll take a
Okay.
look at it.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
And I believe you're not in charge of Hatfield. It's county, right?
Get him,
Okay,
get him.
okay, so you're good then. No, there's no further question for you.
Excellent, excellent, that was easy.
Okay, so before we move on, anybody have any questions for ODOT? Okay, no further question? We are gonna move, we are gonna go to county road. Robert,
Hey
you got the
guys,
floor.
coming up here in the next couple months, or the next 6 months, we have 3 jobs coming out to bid. The first job coming out will be in mid to late February. And that is the Canyonville SRTS, Safe Routes to School project in Canyonville, project number 11073. And that'll be bidding, and hopefully construction will go throughout the summer and be completed by December of this year. The next job bidding behind that is the Winchester Bay Phase 2 water and sewer project on Lighthouse Road. It takes off from Salmon Harbor where we did the first phase, and that'll be going from the intersection of Salmon and Lighthouse up towards the museum.
Okay.
And that'll bid in March and be in construction during the summer also and completed this year. Then the next job bids a little bit later, another Safe Routes to School contract, and that's in Azalea Glendale. I believe that's contract 11119, and that's also a Safe Routes to School project, putting in sidewalks, bike lanes, and so forth for the school. Completed jobs, the Comfort and Oakland bridges are completed. Hinkle Creek Bridge on the east side of Sutherland is complete. So those are completed jobs. We are in the process of nearly completing the traffic safety action plan. That was provided by a grant to provide an action plan for the Douglas County Public Works. And what that does is identify problem areas and then make recommendations for new safety provisions and for contracts. And lastly, we have in progress, which is very preliminary, but it's being handled by ODOT, and that is the Melrose Garden Valley roundabout contract. That's what we have looking forward.
Okay, anybody have any
So-
questions for?
Are we still in design phase?
It's
Robert?
very preliminary for the
Melrose
for
Garden
Melrose,
Valley?
yeah, it's very preliminary. Right now, they're just gathering data, doing survey work, identifying utilities. It's just very
Where's that
preliminary.
roundabout gonna go exactly?
Say that again?
Is that roundabout gonna go? So they're coming down the hill up Garden Valley, and if they're not paying attention, is that gonna be a roundabout that like obstructs their, like they're actually gonna have to turn and go around it to continue on out Garden Valley?
Well, so the way they work, I mean, I don't wanna go into the exact detail, but in general, what it's supposed to do is that roundabout is supposed to take you around the corner of the roundabout and take you on the other side. So you have a choice either to continue in the roundabout and continue left, or get out of the roundabout as you go out of the half moon shape.
Yeah, no, I get that,
Okay.
but it's,
To answer
so,
your
cause
question.
right now, they come down that hill at about 55 miles an hour.
Right.
Or
is that-
70, or 70 or 80,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
more like 70 or
Yeah,
80.
yeah.
But is that, are they reducing the speed zone or
Yeah,
something?
there's gonna be a lot of,
And bump that, it doesn't bump up in speed until it gets out past the roundabout kind of thing?
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that needs to be vetted out in the design, is gonna be the speed and also the profile of the road.
Right.
That profile of the road may or may not be changed to reduce the speeds, but that's the whole intent of this roundabout, is to reduce speeds and to control the intersection and to control left turns and right turns.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's a good question, because that's one of the biggest problems we do have, and you're right. Everybody's coming down there at an enormous speed, and that's part of the problem. So we're hoping that this roundabout, if that is the final design, we are hoping that it reduces the speed and keeps everybody moving in a more methodical process.
Okay, anybody have any more?
So are we thinking maybe 2027 When this one,
2026, 2027,
okay,
for construction, correct? That's what
Right,
you're
right,
asking?
yeah.
Yes.
because I'll wanna get a seat at the top of the hill and watch. It'll be interesting.
I can put one right down at the bottom for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I got something for you. Hatfield
Excuse me?
Lane, Hatfield. There's a lot of, road, crackage going on. It looks just like, North Bank Road. If you drive by and you see North Bank is where it turned to spider out and crack. Hatfield got a lot of that going on.
Okay.
And it's only, it's less than a mile strip. So I'm not sure why it's going so badly, but it needs to be looked at
All right,
for.
we'll look at it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
In North Bank, I brought up a while back for the speed sign on the glide side.
Okay.
There's no speed signs basically telling them how fast to go on that.
Okay, I'll bring that up again. We brought it up, not sure where.
Yeah, but you have one come from the other side,
Correct.
from the other Wilbur. But as far as when you're leaving Glide, the Green Bridge, you don't have nothing to let them know. And as we all know, if you don't see a sign, the automatic rule of thumb is 55.
Okay.
What is the speed on North Bank?
It's, I believe it's
55?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. That's most likely why.
okay. I was just kind of curious. It's been brought up to me a couple times, like, you know. And some of them stay 45, depending where you go. Like if you get in the middle, there's a couple signs that say 45 on the white one.
Sure.
You gotta know the yellow ones are recommended, but if the white ones are no.
Right.
Shut up and do it.
Regulatory.
You know, mandatory.
We've been
So-
known to focus a little more on, when the speed's less than basic rules. So like at 45 and so forth, we'll try to make sure that message is extremely clear as compared to a 55, but I'm not speaking for the county.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say it's the same, but I'll definitely bring it up again and get back to you.
Okay. That's all I have for County Road. So before we move on, any further questions? Okay, no further questions for county. We're going to go to the sheriff department. Andrew, you have the floor.
So last year we took about 2786, so just almost 3,000 criminal cases. Made 6,027 traffic stops, cited 1,892 of them. Did 147 DUIs, took 5 injury accident reports. That's it, as far as traffic related stuff.
Okay.
So 6,000, excuse me, 6,027?
Yeah.
What was that? That was tickets or cases?
Traffic stops.
Oh,
You gave a number for sites.
Yeah, 1,892 on sites.
wow.
Thanks.
16 and a half traffic stops a day. Dang.
So how many
Sounds about right.
how many case numbers were drawn last year?
Well, as far as criminal, let's see here.
Criminal cases was,
We had about 33,000 calls for service. Yeah, as far as, you want like not related to traffic type stuff, like
all the
birds and
cases.
stuff, or?
or how high did they get in case numbers last year?
Cases were, what did we hit?
You get close to
Cases,
7?
I don't have like,
Okay.
I'd have to add it up. As far
Okay.
as, cause we have criminal cases, we have mental
Right.
hold cases, we have.
Right.
But we're up around 5,000 still,
Okay,
or I think around 4,500 to 5,000.
that's down, but usually it's about 60, well,
I didn't think
back
we
in my
hit
days.
6,000.
No, I don't think we've ever hit 6,000.
I don't think so.
No, I mean, in 15 years anyway,
Okay.
that I can recall.
Okay,
No, I think
Yeah.
we're right around. I could crunch the numbers. I'd have to pull a different report.
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, cause there's like, about 3,000 criminal cases, about 1,000 non-criminal, then mental holds going to another one, and it's just how it's categorized.
Yeah,
This isn't
yeah.
a really good support.
Yeah, cause then you'd have accidents and stuff like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then there's, property damage.
Yeah.
report.
Yeah.
Dump in there, but it usually sits around 5. Huh?
That's just what I recall from my days.
Gotcha.
Okay, anybody have any further questions?
I have one. What's the, since we've had this new changing of the guard, are you still concentrating on like a traffic, like, Deputy Rico Lang told me about a traffic, like there was a traffic committee or a traffic, something that they were concentrating on or trying to get started or?
No, I think what Rico's talking, I don't think we're concentrating on it. I think that might have been a term, I guess, depending on how you look at it. There was it was brought up about like a traffic enforcement team. It was more of a
Yeah.
beginning stage discussion
Right,
type thing, but we haven't been able to get our staffing up to a point for routine
Yeah.
patrol, and that would have to be filled before we could like pull somebody off where they're not handling the birds, domestics, assaults and all that stuff, and then have them ignore all that to focus on traffic, like typical, like traffic
Mhm.
cops do, you know what I mean? But
right,
it was more of a fleeting discussion that seems to have been kind of shelved right now
okay,
while we focus on staffing, but it's right now it's a want, you know, and a need, obviously, but I guess you call it a desire, right? We wanna do that, and that was, you know, Sheriff Hanlon had started that conversation. It's just, it's like, yeah, we'd love to, but and he knows, it's just getting staffing up and then,
and then, okay.
yeah, but but it was a conversations being had about it.
Mhm.
And I brought it up in here at one point, I think, might have
Right.
been where that came
Right.
from.
And I was just kinda wondering what,
No development, yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
alright,
Yeah, how's the staffing coming along? You getting recruits, you getting people interested, or what,
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the background gets a lot of them.
that's,
Yep.
okay,
Gets a lot of them, and so I mean, we have some in background, we have a few up at the academy right now. We had one that was up at the academy, but we ended up, you know, parting ways with that person. It's just, you know, you have the first interview filters out some, then the second interview filters out some, and then you have a background, and then there's a psych that gets a lot of them, then sometimes it's at the sheriff, you know, or the administrative interview gets some of those are going to patrol, and by the time I watched, I was like, there was no like disqualifiers, but not really ready for patrol, there's not enough life behind them, and so some of those we'll send to the jail where it's a little bit more of a controlled environment. Granted, they have their own challenges, but it's
Yeah.
just different, right?
Mhm.
So,
does, UCC still have a
reserve
police,
program,
yeah?
yeah, it's a civilian reserve kind of thing, they still do that.
Did that kinda help you guys out if they start, or? is that-
Some, but there's, you know, yeah, we get some out of that. It's a worthwhile program for sure.
Okay,
You know, if there's an applicant wanting to go, that's one of the, you know, best ways,
First go
you know.
to.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not bringing something else to the table kind of thing, it's a resume builder for sure.
okay,
I mean, it's a chance, I mean, it's a 9-month interview really, if they treat it like that, because it's taught by cops and a lot of them are on the hiring boards and so it's
do they, do you guys rotate for the shift for to help teach?
I don't know if I'd call it
different-
rotate, but there's certain
Agencies,
deputies, well,
I guess that's what I'm asking for, agencies that
it's
participate.
mostly DCSO. It's almost exclusively DCSO, but there are like, I think there's one from Sutherland that helps out on some stuff. I think there's one, maybe two from Winston that teaches, or kind of like assistant teaches some stuff. Yeah, and then the vast majority of it is DCSO,
Okay,
yeah. Did that answer the question?
yeah, that is,
Yeah.
yeah, I figure like,
It's open to, you know, other agencies too, and, you know, I'd say, it seems like there's been 2 or 3 per class get hired somewhere in law enforcement.
Okay,
Whether it's corrections or, you know, we've had them go through that and get hired on in records, we've had them go on to, communications,
okay,
and then we'll sometimes get one on patrol too. Sometimes a couple on patrol, kinda depends on the class.
mhm,
I mean, down in South County, when I was running that office, I had a few that went through the program and they're absolute just tens, so.
nice. Okay, well, thank you for.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get to another agenda, any further questions?
Nope, nope.
Okay, no further questions, We're gonna open it for any others we have to bring up.
I have one thing.
You have another. Okay, Chris, you got the floor.
Okay, I don't know if any of you heard about this, but I went to the meeting at the Roseburg Library at the end of October. And this has to do with the interchange area management plan for the Garden Valley corridor. And that goes from the 124 to the 125, that area in between. And Garden Valley Boulevard from Stevens to the Stewart Parkway intersection, that area. And what they're just trying to do at this point is they're trying to identify strategies to improve safety, mobility, connectivity, because as they pointed out, every driveway between Stevens and Stewart Parkway is a commercial driveway. You don't have any houses there. You just have, it's a whole commercial thing, and you've got all this traffic and it gets backed up, and it's, you know, it's kind of a crazy time. And during certain peak times, it's really bad in there. And not only is the freeway used between the 124 and the 125 is used by city residents just to get around. It's not a thoroughfare. So that adds to the congestion and the on and the off and all of that. So basically, they're in the beginning stages right now. It's a several-year plan. I did go to this meeting and just kind of learned what they're looking at and why. The object is to figure out a 20-year plan. In other words, how do we want to grow this in the next 20 years to accommodate the traffic in the area? And I know from one thing, I think it was Monday, December 23rd, my husband was coming from his shop and he has to turn onto the Garden Valley Stevens intersection to come home because we live out in Garden Valley. He said that when he got on the other side of the tracks, it took him 6 traffic lights at the off-ramp to get up there. And he said, the problem was there's all these people coming up. He said he counted 27 cars coming off that off-ramp. But then people don't stop and they block the intersection. So then their light turns green, but nobody can move because these people are blocking the intersection. And so it just becomes this big deadlock. And then he said Tuesday, which was actually Christmas Eve, it was okay. So Monday must have been the big travel day, or people going or coming off to get fuel or food as they're traveling through, whatever. But that is a huge problem during some times. But if any of you are interested, I just wanted to tell you that I went to this, and there's a QR code on this. I just brought this. If you're interested after the meeting, you can put this QR code, you can sign up for emails on the project and just kind of keep up. And they're gonna have future meetings throughout this time period to just update. But right now, the object of this particular meeting was to have people come and look at where they're looking at, and then you could give your input on what you thought the problems were or where you thought improvement was needed. And so they're just kind of, it's just kind of right in now, just a basic study.
Brainstorm.
Yeah. So that's all.
Hopefully, we're a partner in that as far as recognizing that 124, 125 piece, right? And some of the steps that we've taken recently is that turn lane. The whole goal is to help with that whole backup and then make that Garden Valley interchange flow a little bit better. Which interestingly, the Garden Valley interchange is very unique. When you talk about ODOT and you talk about interstate, we own on top of the overpass and we own the lights and all of those. Garden Valley's different. That's the city. Is the city. It's very unique. It's the only one I can think of. It may be another one somewhere on I-84 or something, but it's the only one I can think of. The ODOT doesn't have the jurisdiction on top. And the
You mean the actual on and off ramps? Is that what
The
you're
on
saying?
and the overpass.
Right.
Oh, the overpass.
The thorough pass of the overpass. So if a car crashes on that overpass or in that intersection, it is technically RPD,
City.
not OSP. That's very unique for us. Not saying that's the issue. I'm just saying that's the uniqueness of that location. But with that said, we recognize the importance of that area, therefore that turn lane was a recent project. And then also just the timing of the 124 lights, trying to help with the same backup that happens on I-5 for the opposite direction, so.
Right.
Okay, anybody have any further question before we get adjourned? Okay, if there's no further issues to discuss, meeting is adjourned.